guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be telling you what I think are the best settings for shooting video on your Canon 70D. This is for people who want to be in manual mode and shoot video. If you are shooting in automatic mode and shooting video, stick around and watch the video anyway, because you may find out some interesting settings which will push you towards shooting in manual mode. As you can see, I'm currently in the menu setting. I've skipped past the first 5 on the top bar because the settings in there are things I'll change with live view later on. So we're going to start off here, which is the video settings number 2. I have grid display off on this camera because of the built-in digital spirit level, but if you want the grid display on, feel free to turn that on. Next down you have your movie recording and size. So here you have 7 options. You have 1080p at 25 frames all I, which is a low compression rate, which will film for 29 minutes and 59 seconds. You then have 1080p 25 frames high compression IPB, which is the same time of recording, which is the longest the camera can record before you have to start a new movie recording. You then have 24 frames a second at 1080, high compression and low compression again, then 720p at 50 frames a second, and then 480p, which we'll never use or are very unlikely to use, at 25 frames a second. So I like to shoot at 25 frames a second at 1080p. Some people like 24 because it gives you a more cinematic feel, but we're going to stick with 25 for this. If you choose to shoot in 24 or 720p at 50 frames a second, bear in mind some of the settings later you'll have to calculate your own numbers for. So I'm going to select 25 frames a second. Digital zoom is disabled for me, and sound recording is manual because I like to set my levels in live view. Let's just flick through to the rest of the settings, check if there's anything else we need to change here. I don't think there is. Everything else is set from when I set up the camera originally. File number continuous, so that if you don't change the name in computer you don't have duplicate files. Video system is set to PAL for me because I'm from the UK. Feature guide I have enabled, which basically means it shows you the guide up on screen when you press the info button. Touch control is standard. Wi-Fi is off because you can't shoot video while Wi-Fi is on. Hopefully they'll rectify that with a firmware update and we'll be able to shoot video remotely via the Wi-Fi. And then everything else on here is just your own personal settings. So let's jump back out of the menu and into live view. Give the camera a second. So here's where you get to choose most of your options. So first off, we're going to hit the Q button and we're going to set it to face detection. I'm then going to select the drive mode and set it to single shooting. We've got the same options as we had in the menu settings for the recording. I'm still shooting on the same thing. Digital zoom is off. Audio recording is set to manual, but it basically means you can change the level by dragging or by pressing the button. As long as you don't peek into the yellow like that is, your audio should be fine. There is unfortunately no headphone out socket on this camera, but you can visually, monitor your audio. It's not the best. I have had a few issues where I've been monitoring and it's peaked and there's nothing I can do about it until I just have to refilm. So keep an eye on that. Yellow means it's going to sound bad, basically. Up here we then have the white balance, so you can choose where you are to change the colour of your image. I'm leaving that on auto for now. There's also a custom function over here which you can set if you have even just a white sheet of paper in the room. You then have your picture styles here, which we'll come into in a moment. Auto lighting optimizer, which is disabled in manual. You can't use it. And then you have video snapshot, which creates a short movies by combining several clips of a few seconds each, but I have that turned off. You can have that turned on if you wish, but I don't really see any reason. So now let's jump back into picture style. So the first thing I do is I have it set to auto. Then what you want to do is I'm just going to flick onto photo mode so I can show you the settings on the screen and I don't have to jump to the top. Depending which video recording style you chose earlier, which I chose to 25 frames a second at 1080, you want to set your shutter speed to double what you picked. So if you're shooting at 25 frames a second, you want to shoot at 1/50th of a thing. That's just kind of a general rule. It's not definite, but it just makes for the best options. I like to set my aperture depending on your situation. I kind of like to shoot wide open, but if you're in a really bright situation, you can close down the aperture to adjust the light sensitivity. You never change the shutter speed in video mode, as far as I'm concerned. You set it at the double what your frame rate is and you leave it there. You never go lower, you never go higher. If you're over or underexposed, you have to adjust it using your aperture and your ISO rating. So you set your aperture to what you wish to shoot for your given situation, and likewise with your ISO, you can turn it up or turn it down. 800 ISO is pretty much a standard for most video. Obviously, if you have a variable ND filter on the front, or you have a set of ND filters, you can put a darker or lighter one on to change your exposure. That helps a lot as well. I'm planning on getting one of those soon. So let's flick back to video. And as you can see, we have all our options here. We have 50 frames a second. I'm currently at f7.1 aperture and ISO 800. If I turn that up and down, you see the difference in live view straight away. Gives you the different exposures. So I'm going to leave it at around f8, which gives me a nice colour there. Now I've set my exposure in the automatic picture style here, but I actually want to shoot in CineStyle. Now if you haven't seen my video on CineStyle, a link will pop up in the top right hand corner of the screen now. Click on that link to go and see how to make your video look more cinematic using CineStyle, how to install it, how to use it, and how to do things. Now I am going to be putting up a tip on how to get great exposure with CineStyle, but for now I'm just going to go through setting it up. So I'm going to go through to my picture profile 1, which is CineStyle. Select that, and there we go, we are set up for video. My audio is currently peaking, so I would go into the queue and go to audio recording and turn that down by a few decibels. But that's pretty much how to set up your video for recording. So the next step is when you're actually recording, but I'm going to give you the tips now anyway, so that you've got them when you go out to record. The autofocus on the 70D is absolutely fantastic. If you're shooting in manual focus, obviously you have complete control. But if you want to shoot in auto, simply choose which one you want. Autofocus option is in the top left. You have the face detection, which also can track other objects as well as faces really well, but is only really useful for me if I'm filming myself and there's only me around, I don't have another camera person. You also have the group multi-flexi zone area, which selects a few points of autofocus depending where you put the box on the screen. So I'll just give you an example of that. It's quite a large box, it will focus where you, sorry about that, bumped the camera, where you put it. Or my favourite, which is the flexi zone single, which when you choose it will select a single autofocus point, and wherever you select it, it will attempt to focus there, which is really, really good. I'm actually too close to that wire for it to focus at the moment, but you get the gist of it. So when you're doing video, I would recommend the single zone or the multi-zone. Face tracking is great if you know it's going to keep up. Sometimes it is tricked. You can trick the sensor by it, but it's incredibly good. I will be doing a full review on the autofocus modes of this camera in a later video. If this video has helped you out or you've liked it for any reason, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down if you've disliked it, and leave a comment below, good or bad, whether you liked it or not, and how I can improve my videos. I really appreciate the feedback from you all. If you have enjoyed this and want more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check the links in my description and stick around for another video. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you check out the links in this video's description to help support the channel if you enjoy my content. And while you're there, why not hit the link and start your free 30-day trial of Amazon Prime Instant Video or Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime Instant Video members can enjoy unlimited instant streaming of over 15,000 movies and TV shows, watch anywhere, anytime with unlimited access throughout the UK, and watch exclusive hit TV shows before they air on British TV. Amazon Prime members can enjoy all the benefits of Amazon Prime Instant Video, while also borrowing books from a choice of over 500,000 titles from the Kindle Owners Lending Library, and also get unlimited free one-day delivery on millions of items.